Tobias Harris, what can you tell us about the former Vol in the NBA?
So we're going to have a little fun with this because guys, we are saying this up front. There is absolutely no proof whatsoever of any of this. And for those who don't know, I don't know how many of you guys, how keyed in y'all are to pro sports or anything like that, but Philly Pro Sports Twitter is the most savage Twitter out there. Philly fans are the most savage fans out there. I love them. So they will go nuclear. So take all of that into account when I'm about to say what I'm about to say. But the NBA just had a gambling scandal where Jontay Porter, who was banned for life from the league, was basically betting against his own props, which for those, we all know prop bets are individual stats.
Well, for those that don't, yeah, prop bets are individual stats, so that would make them highly controllable. It's not like saying Caleb and I have to beat this other team by 16 points. It would be very easy to manipulate, one would think.
Exactly. And so the Sixers, by the way,
very worst cheating you could possibly do would be the way that I would put it.
Right, exactly. And so the Sixers, who, by the way, congratulations, did beat the Knicks last night. Joel Embiid came back and dropped 50 points. And so it's now 2-1 series lead for the Knicks. But the Sixers, Tobias Harris averaged for the year 13.5 shots per game. So right around 14 shots per game.
Tobias Harris, if you don't remember, played 1 year at the University of Tennessee. He has turned in... Yes, under Bruce Pearl, he has turned into a jump shooter. If you haven't seen him in the NBA, for the most part, he is kind of a poor man's Allen Houston in some ways. Go ahead.
Yes. So 13.5 points a game, averaging double figures. Or I'm sorry, takes 13.5 shots a game and was averaging double figures. In the first 2 games, without Joel Embiid, so you would think there'd be more shots for him to take. He took 7 shots, and then he took 11 shots. And then he took 10 shots last night. And Philly Twitter, and again, I'm just going to share some tweet. I'm just going to show some of them with you real quick. They are going at Tobias Harris.
Okay, this is so completely unfair. This is so completely unfair. Can we bring that up? Because for one, I know him. I know his family. He would never do anything like this. This is absurd. And this is the frustrating part about professional sports to me, especially Philly fans. And if you're a Philly fan, I'm sorry. And I love you, Dane Bradshaw, but you are a fan of the worst program in the nation ever.
The worst sports fan, you mean?
Yes. Just a fan of the
Spoken like true Cowboys fan.
Yes. They root for people when they're down on the ground with no movement past their neck. They think that's funny. Ha, ha, ha. They're terrible people. They throw icicles at Santa Claus. They're just bad people. And now they're going after Tobias Harris, and I'm not going to stand for it.
I think that Philly fans are what makes sports great. And here's why. You ever listen to Philly sports radio, Dave? You ever listen to Philly fans talk or anything like that on radio?
Yeah, I have.
They are the old people say that they're harsh to opposing fans. No, they're harsh to their own teams. They are the only fan base. Is this fair to say? Them in New York to a degree too. Philly and New York sports fans are the only 2 fan bases that don't get swept up in their own players. They hold you accountable for what you do or don't do. And all I'm saying is that Philly sports, I totally defend them for pelting Santa Claus. The Santa Claus himself, who played Santa Claus that day, who was a Philly fan, said, I would have pelted myself. Because the actual Santa Claus that was supposed to come out that day was drunk because he was mad that the Eagles were winning that game because that was going to cost them the number 1 draft pick because they really wanted O.J. Simpson that year. That's the funny story about that. Okay, so they were mad, so they pelted Santa Claus, and I totally defend them on that. They are going nuclear on Tobias Harris, and I have to say this, Dave. At the very least, Tobias Harris is shrinking when it matters most, right? Like, he's massively shrinking in the postseason. Joel Embiid's not there. If Joel Embiid's not there, you should be taking more than 10 shots in a game when you're one of the primary scorers, right?
Wouldn't you, if you're Tobias Harris, this is where it gets goofy, and you're paying attention to any of this, aren't you shooting every time you get the ball in your hands? Next game, you're going to make sure you're taking your over, right? For the game.
Yes. I mean, yes, you probably are, but then people would say that he's taking his over on purpose because any bet on that. Here's a funny stat for you. Someone asked Dave, which record is most unbreakable? LeBron James's 40,000 career points, John Stockton's 3,000 career steals, or Tobias Harris making $248 million and never making an All-Star game in the NBA. And that was what I saw the other day. That was kind of funny. I just had to point that out. But all I'm saying is that Tobias Harris, I don't think he's betting. I think it's unfair, but for the first 2 games that they lost without Joel Embiid, there's no excuse for him to take so many fewer shots than his average when the star player that would take shots away from him is not on the court.
I agree.